Have you noticed that children have fallen behind in their literacy due to the events of the past few years? Teaching children how to read is now, more than ever, a vital task, and over the years there have been many approaches, but phonics has always been the foundation. Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from My Progression, and this video is going to explore the importance of phonics. Shout out to Catherine, part of our My Progression community, for her suggestion. If you're working in a primary school, you'll most likely be familiar with and use phonics. But if you're looking to increase your understanding, or you're wondering what I'm talking about, stay tuned and we'll take you through an introduction to phonics. Once a child can read fluently, we presume children can decipher unfamiliar words. A small child will begin to recognise signs and symbols quite early on. Look, that says McDonald's, when seeing the familiar golden arches. The visual familiar signs become part of a child's understanding and is the beginning of early recognition of marks that they understand and can read. The principles of phonics was actually first introduced in 1570 by John Hart. The term phonics was actually introduced as a synonym of phonetics in 1970. So it's safe to say it's a tried and tested approach. Teachers who are more experienced in Key Stage 2 and higher sometimes take the fact that children can read for granted and may not get the most out of teaching a lesson in early years or Key Stage 1, or if they need to work with children who are falling behind. We want you to all have some development in this area, as phonics is the foundation to reading. A knowledge of phonics will support all staff in their teaching of literacy skills, reading and writing, as well as spelling. For our supply staff, it's really well worth gaining knowledge of phonics to support your experience and allow you to accept those supply days in EYFS or Key Stage 1. As I just mentioned, knowledge of phonics is also essential further up the school as it supports spelling. You can say to your Year 4 student, use your knowledge of your letter sounds to help you have a go. Yes, you can spell elephant. You knew the letters PH sound like an F, but did the word look wrong when you wrote it down with an F? The teaching of phonics will be the stepping stone to a new world of books for children. At such a young age, we need to introduce and foster a love of reading for our youngest children in school. Personally, I've always loved reading. It's the most wonderful way of accessing new worlds and making them live inside your own brain. I'm a very passionate reader. As the educator, these 4 and 5-year-olds will listen to you read stories, poems and rhymes. They can be transported to a world of make-believe and fantasy, a scary world of monsters, chant rhymes about farmyards, or sing songs about rainbows. You're using your oracy skills to open the minds of these children to unknown worlds and new vocabulary. We want our children to be surrounded by a wealth of rich language, which they'll be able to use themselves in their own speaking, and later in their own independent reading and writing. As the children progress through the school, the aim and aspirations of the school is for each child to be able to read independently and then be motivated to write their own stories, poems or songs. We can see that the basics must be taught and taught well to be that structure for the children to move forward. Being able to read allows access to the curriculum in full and therefore access to a world after education. The definition of phonics is a method for teaching people how to read and write an alphabetic language. It's done by demonstrating the relationship between the sounds of the spoken language and the letters or groups of letters or syllables of the written language. The alphabet consists of the 26 letters used to write words in the English language. When reciting the alphabet, A, B, C, D, we use the names of the letters. Phonics is the study of how letters or groups of letters sound in a word and are written down. The individual letters of the alphabet have a sound or phoneme. A, B, K, D, E. Phonics involves matching the sounds of spoken English with individual letters or groups of letters. For example, the sound k can be spelled as C, K, CK, QU, or CH. Teaching children to blend the sounds of letters together helps them decode unfamiliar or unknown words by sounding them out. The sound k is a phoneme, and the C, K, CK, QU, or CH are known as a grapheme. A grapheme is either 1 or 2 letters and is a written symbol that represents a phoneme, and there are around 44 of these. Digraphs are 2-letter graphemes, so there are single sounds that are represented in writing with 2 letters: ch, sh, w, and ng. Most words are made of a group of graphemes or letters. For example, cat is 3 letters and pronounced k, a, t. Each letter represents a single phoneme. Shut, 4 letters, but 3 graphemes through: sh, t. Blending is a method used to help children learn to read by combining different sounds to form words. Blending sounds together teaches learners how words are sounded out, which will help them to decode long and unfamiliar words when they're reading. Segmenting is splitting up words for spelling by breaking up words into all their sounds, and then working out what letter or letters are needed to represent each sound. The word church has 3 phonemes, which are also graphemes: ch, ch. The word strap has 5 phonemes: st, a, p. CVC words, consonant, vowel, consonant, are single-syllable, 3-phoneme words that follow the pattern of consonant sound, vowel sound, consonant sound. Learning about CVC words is an important tool in phonics as it can help children with reading, writing, and rhyming 3-phoneme words. Think cat, bat, rat. Split digraph is a digraph that's split by a consonant. The vowel on the end changes the sound of the previous vowel. Think about the word them. The E in them is said eh, but if you add another E on the end, it changes the sound of that first E to E, and you have theme. If you think about the word mad, an E on the end becomes made. I've been Natalie from My Progression, and this has been a video on the basics of phonics. Tune in next week for a video on how to implement this in your lessons and what Ofsted are looking for when it comes to phonics. If you would like to suggest some future videos, then please comment below or get in touch via ideas@my-progression.com. And as always, let's keep your career in motion.